r/Airbnb hosts. Nwablist says, Housekeeper Issues. Hi all, I'm a new host. I bought a property last year which was already operating as an Airbnb. The former owners gave me their contractor list as part of the sale and gave their housekeeper a good recommendation. When I began to host guests in October, I reached out to her and she was eager to continue the relationship because she said she loves the property. The first few cleanings went okay. I thought she did a great job, but things have been slipping and I'm thinking I might need to find a new housekeeper. I'm looking for advice to make sure I'm not being hasty. The main source of heat in the cabin is a propane fireplace. It's a small space, so heating it up does not take long. It came to my attention she's been leaving the propane fireplace on non-stop in between guests. Filling the propane tank costs about $300 and we have had to refill it twice in 6 weeks when the property has largely been unoccupied. She recently left it on for 5 days, which I asked her to make sure not to do again. In addition to this, she also left the shed unlocked. The shed has tools and snowboards in it. Several weeks later I came to realize the fireplace had been left on for 2 weeks when the cabin was empty due to cancellations. She had also left the back door completely unlocked and the front gate to our driveway was also left open and unlocked. She denied any of this was her fault, but nobody else had a code to the house and the cameras show her as the last person on the property. We had some damage to a fence in our yard which she said her husband was going to fix and charge me for it, but the fence did not get fixed and the panel was still missing several weeks later. These things aside, she has asked for personal use of the cabin twice now. When we had a cancellation on Christmas, she asked to use the kitchen/stove and I said okay. Then she asked if she can host her granddaughter's birthday there. That's coming up next week, to which I also reluctantly said okay. I'm paying her for her time cleaning, and she is also now costing me additional money in propane plus asking for favors and personal use of the property. I feel that I'm being taken advantage of. Edit. Some additional information. / there is a smart lock on the front door. The back door is a sliding glass door, so there is not a smart lock on it. / there is a cleaning checklist. She checks in with me after the cleaning is complete. The cleaning aspect is always good. She sends a video, but they are often fuzzy as her camera is not great quality. I trust her ability to keep the house clean and tidy. / there is an established lockup procedure on the checklist, including all fireplaces be off, doors and windows locked, front gate closed and locked. / the shed has a lockbox with code that she has access to. We keep extra supplies in the shed, toilet paper, paper towels, cleaning supplies, welcome snacks, etc, so she will need continued access to that. However, we also keep all of the tools and the snowboards in there. / I live 2 hours away and I visit the property multiple times per month, usually for a few days at a time, to handle other maintenance and upkeep. This is not hands-off management. Anything that can be done without a contractor is done by us. Realistically, I need a dependable housekeeper because I cannot turn over the property for every guest due to distance and having a full-time job. / I did address these issues with her both times. The first time she accepted fault, the second time she was salty about it being called out. I was direct but polite and to the point. I have not threatened dissolving the working relationship yet, but I'll let her know this is serious and she really needs to be mindful of locking up and turning things off, since we blew through all of that propane and nobody was in the house for over 2 weeks. C for 1781 says, I'm happy to let my cleaner use my property for personal use from time to time. She relies on my cleanings to send money back to her family in Mexico. She would rather have guests in the house than use it for herself and have to clean for free. So I have no qualms with personal use. When I have issues with her as far as forgetting stuff, I'm clear with her. I also created a laminated checklist of things and a dry erase marker. I told her she is expected to complete it on every cleaning, write the date on the top, and send me a picture of it after each cleaning. I also expect her to text me along with that to confirm that the heater has been set to 55 degrees or act to 79 in the summer and that the house is locked. I will occasionally go by after I receive the texts and walk the property. There have been no issues since. As a manager, you need to help your staff succeed. If they are making mistakes, you develop a process to help them be successful. If you just don't like her, okay fine, fire her. But how easy is it to get a cleaner out in the mountains? Not easy. Also, there is no telling how good the next person will be. Investing in your staff's success is what good management does. Be that manager. Gold Comfortable 453 says, I think much depends on the former relationship and expectations set by the previous owner. Did you meet with her as a new client and explain what you expected and agree on a payment? If not, this is mostly on you. Regarding the propane, will pipes freeze if not heated? Maybe she was never responsible for locking gates, etc. If you have increased the workload, have you increased her wage? Be careful before you destroy this relationship, as finding cleaners to run your long distance rental is not easy. Misty Rihanna 9459 says, look for another person. Right now. This year I'll let go my housekeeper. She was working for us, my home and rentals for 14 years. Everything was perfect. She really is a good worker when the job was well done, until very slowly, during the last couple of years officially, she started to forget this here, this thing broke here, oh sorry I forgot to close this gate here. One of my dogs almost escaped after this mistake. Things that she normally did in 5 hours perfectly 4 years, suddenly there was not enough time to finish them, and I need to get paid more. Can I borrow this? Is it okay to stay at this rental this day? It all happened very slowly, because you develop an emotional relationship after a long time. I talked long and seriously with her, and told about the things either were not working. 6 months after the talk, things were even worse, and I fired her. Was difficult, but you know what? Not the end of the world. Got another person doing her job now, got a cleaning company for the rentals. If she's not available, and that's it. Just a work relationship and no personal attachments. You have not been with her for that long, and you didn't even choose her, so if I was you I will find a new person and deal with it the way it is. A professional relationship where she does the work and gets paid, nothing else. If work is not done, AMD instructions given not followed, work is over. All the other stuff is out of line. If you keep with it, she's going to keep doing the same and slowly adding up other stuff. Don't wait, and keep it very clear with the new person. The one I have does not do a perfect job all the time, but she is reliable and responsible. The things you talk about are serious enough to terminate the contract immediately. Upper Ad 4115 says, what is the climate like in your location? I think that makes a big difference in the situation with the propane fireplace. Personally, where I live, 3 to 4 months out of the year your heat must be on even when unoccupied, for things will freeze and cause serious damage. Fallark says, no, she needs to go. And my housekeeper or housekeepers never asked for free use of the mountain house she cleans. Your housekeeper has no boundaries and seems irresponsible. r/Airbnb hosts. Honid Moon says, my unpopular conspiracy theory. I'm sure I'm going to get downvoted to hell for this, but does else anyone think that it might be plausible that hotel chains may be generating and/or engaging with social media posts that hate on Airbnb in order to reduce the competition to their hotels? Don't get me wrong, hosts can be shitty and people have bad experiences, and I'm not here to discount/minimize those experiences. But I'm a rezo wonder of hotel chains engage in that content through comments/likes/saving/downloading. so that it's boosted within the algorithm, more people see the content, and then it changes the public narrative until it's cool and preferable to give your money to a megacorp instead of Dan who rents out the townhouse the family outgrew. The megacorp is a much harder ethical sell in 2024, and I think that core saw the writing on the wall and needed to find a way for travelers to overlook this fact by promoting organic content that hosts were somehow more greedy and awful than 500-room hotels and CS that make $23 million annually. No one is going to listen to an ad from a hotel chain, but 1 million views are going to be on Sarah 2849, whose host was high as a kite when she arrived for check-in. Again, not trying to minimize people's bad experiences. Marizo just wonder if Core have found a hella easy way to profit off of those experiences by simply engaging with the content. Heavy Fondant says, not a conspiracy. Interest groups regularly employ PR companies with specialists that maintain banks of fake profiles to push certain points of view to sway public opinion. Facebook has internal teams that train companies in doing so. Willing at 7696 says, oh absolutely fricking lootly. Look at the articles that are written against Airbnb as op-eds and then trace the author back to source. It's almost always a person involved in the hotel industry. Pay me money says, yes, hedge funds do the same thing on here with stocks. Tilwa have a faces says, I'm pretty sure it was happening in here too. There was a few month period where a rash of anti-Airbnb posts came up that were super dramatic and very obviously fake. Ababab70 says, there's definitely a PR and more importantly a government lobbying campaign from the hotel companies against STRs. All the noise about taking away housing etc. is just noise if you look at the actual figures, with the exemption of a few very touristy areas that were already full of vacation homes to begin with. Turkey Erjub says, the hotel lobbies in my country were literally in bed with the Prime Minister when he advanced laws that limited STR. Incidentally, there are licenses for 100 new hotels in my city, equal to 50% the amount that already exists. People cry about STR being detrimental for homeowners and conveniently forget that hotels kill housing projects and small business along with it. Keith Stone says, for sure, they even have some misguided tech writer putting out nonsense about every Tom, Dick, and Harry host has their place covered with cameras for no other reason than to spend all their waking hours watching their guests, so guests should destroy anything that looks like a lens and report the host to Airbnb. Conscious Magazine 50 says, I think you're right. People do like to complain about hidden fees and cleaning requirements in real life when Airbnb comes up, but in real life they also complain about hidden fees with hotels along with the gross free breakfast, paying for parking, funky smells, and only getting one room. I'm not a host, but I much prefer Airbnb for vacations. Electric Machinery says, there's a serious anti-Airbnb rant on every Reddit thread that mentions housing lately. It's kind of crazy how people inject Airbnb hate into so many different topics. Scott Redrocks says, of course the hotel lobby is engaged in this at all levels globally. Acrobatic Resident 76 says, this, which is why hosts in this group should be verified and non-hosts disallowed imo. I would love to be part of a host-only group. I would have no problem whatsoever ignoring the fake comments and stories in all the other Airbnb groups. BTW, I submitted my listing for verification on here, but to my knowledge it has not happened yet. Please advise. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.